Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Are we in the disbelief stage now? This coming from Will Clement here on Twitter, and I know you guys have likely seen this model in the past. The disbelief stage, this is when we've seen a rally, not just for cryptocurrency, but in any kind of market. It happens at the beginning of bull runs, and most novice traders are just thinking, no, this can't be it. We are not in a bull market yet. Some people down here responding with some funny tweets. Sticky saying, no way, we are still around anxiety/denial. Complacency, says Will Clement here with a revised photoshopped version of the chart. Depression, deeper depression, wrecked, rector, ultimate wrecked, ultimate rector, annihilation, Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event. I don't think we're that bad. Hard to believe, says Elio Trades here on Twitter. Yep, agrees, says Plan B, because I hear a lot of bull trap talk. So, as pointed out here by a few prominent crypto trading analysts that have quite a large following here on Twitter, they are thinking the same thing. The retail traders are not really accepting that this could be the beginning of the bull run, and this is Bitcoin on the daily. You guys can see we lost a lot of ground yesterday. Not quite a bearish engulfing candlestick though, so that is at least good news. Not a lot of trading volume down here. If we can get some of those icons out of the way, you guys can see just zooming in down here, not a lot of negative trading pressure. However, Bitcoin price did go from about 23,700 down to about 23,100. So that's where we're sitting right now. XRP price, bringing up the XRP chart here real quickly, down a little as well. We're hovering at 39.8. So, the market has taken a bit of a dip. Market cap, though, still hovering above $1 trillion. We can see Bitcoin dominance really hasn't moved too much. But when taking a look at the market in the last 24 hours, we can see pretty much red across the board for most cryptocurrencies. Some obviously taking a harder hit than others, like Dogecoin down 4.14, Polygon down 4.59. But most coins here in the single digits, bringing up the total market cap. This is every cryptocurrency. You can see it's pretty much mirroring. What we have seen for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still the largest cryptocurrency in the space, and therefore most other altcoins are following Bitcoin. I also happen to see this. An analyst known for calling Bitcoin crypto bottoms issues an alert to altcoin traders. So, it's nearing the end of January. There are some theories that February could be a tumultuous month. A crypto strategist who nailed Bitcoin's 2018 bottom believes we're in a rough few weeks after this year's bullish start. Synonymous analyst Smart Contractor tells his 219,000 Twitter followers that many altcoins have already completed their 5-wave rallies. Now, he's looking at Elliott wave theory here, and just taking a look at some of these charts, he is looking at the micro time frame for a lot of these cryptocurrencies, and that we've already seen the 5-wave structure play out. So here's what he said: people aping alts expecting higher, where I'm pretty sure we're gearing up to top for a few weeks, especially altcoins. 5-wave rises on daily, literally all over the place, most notably on Total 3, which is the market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is the total 3 market cap here. You guys can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already hit that wave 5. He's also looking at coins like AVAX, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Already nailed the 5 on this particular altcoin. And I mean, you can see it all over on all kinds of different charts. This is the Chainlink chart as well, and that 5-wave structure. Now we're seeing a bit of a retrace. I'm putting this video out on January the 30th, so almost the end of January, and February again coming up. And we have been hearing some warning signals. Timothy Peterson posting this. If this is indeed the start of a new bull market for Bitcoin, it could return to annualized 125% roughly on par with the last bull market, and the potential for $45,000 within a year. So this is kind of, zooming out, looking at the broader picture, Bitcoin price versus the 200-day moving average. And just taking a look here, you guys can see even in the early days of Bitcoin, I'm going to try to punch in on this so we can take a look at the entire chart. Back in the early days, 2012, we saw 763% annualized. Now, we're looking at bull markets. This is the first bull market in the law of diminishing returns. As stated here, you guys can see the returns for Bitcoin keep going down and down and down the further we move through the cycle. So that was the first bull market. We can see that cross of the 200-day moving average bringing us into the bear market. And then the cross again, another bull market, 368% annualized, and that was through 2015 to the end of 2017. Then we had the bear market and another spike here. This was very brief because then we had the beer flu shutdown, which brought us down and around here in March 2020. The next run up, 129% annualized. which obviously brought us to the most recent bull top, which was in November of 2021. And then down here, but guys, look at this. We are crossing the 200-day moving average yet again. And you guys can see that all throughout here as denoted by these green circles. So we are here. Law of diminishing returns are suggesting that, these rallies, at least for Bitcoin, are not going to be as big. This is why, partially why we're invested in altcoins as well. But Timothy Peterson here saying, we could be on par with the last rally here. He's suggesting 127%. And if you look here, we saw 129% for Bitcoin. So an interesting look at that. I mean, there's also things going on like this in Nigeria. Bitcoin Premium hits 60% in Nigeria as country limits ATM cash withdrawals. So, I mean, we're not seeing this in the West, at least not yet, but this is also creating a Bitcoin frenzy in Nigeria specifically, to the point where the equivalent price to purchase Bitcoin is $38,000 USD, but in the local currency, obviously, the price of Bitcoin in Nigeria has skyrocketed to well above global market levels amid continued efforts by the central bank to push its citizens into digital cash. So, I mean, you can only imagine if governments around the world start doing the same thing in Western countries, in Europe, Canada, Australia, dare I say the United States, this same kind of thing could happen. At the time of this writing, the price of one Bitcoin on the Nigerian crypto exchange Naira X is 17.8 million Nairas, equating to a whopping $38,792. This is more than 60% or a 60% premium over the current market price of Bitcoin, around $23,700 at the time of the writing. So Shib Bezos here tweeted this out. Bitcoin is hope breaking. Bitcoin is selling for a 60% premium in Nigeria because the Central Bank of Nigeria started limiting cash. Let me just close that. Started limiting cash withdrawals to $44 per day earlier this month. Now, cost of living in Nigeria is far less than living in the US. However, a limit on how much you can withdraw does obviously spell concern for these Nigerian citizens, and I'm sure that would occur as well if it happened in the West. As of January 9th, citizens are only allowed to withdraw a maximum of 20,000 Nairas, around about $44, from cash machines per day. The move came just days before the new Naira banknotes went into circulation with the aim of curbing inflation and money laundering. The central bank imposed a deadline of January 24th for Nigerians to exchange their old, higher denomination banknotes for the new currency. So, if there is in fact a transition to a central bank digital currency or something similar, we could in fact start seeing this. And I think what governments will try to do is they'll try to, nail countries one at a time. I don't think it would be this entire rollout unless, here's a theory, unless they decide to quote unquote not plan a cyber pandemic at the same time. I mean, you gotta wonder. So anyway, this is what's happening in Nigeria. We've got BITRUE also coming out here listing XRPH. They're announcing that it is in fact coming to BITRUE spot trading very soon. Deposits open now. XRPH to USDT trading pairs. It is starting on January the 31st, so tomorrow. You guys can check out the details here. I will link this in the description if you guys are interested. Crypto Eddie also coming out with some SBI news. Many questions lately. What's up with Yoshitaka Kitao and SBI? On January the 27th, we talked a little bit about this. XRP continues as shareholder benefits. So Yoshitaka Kitao did state, or rather there was an announcement out of SBI that they would still use XRP for shareholder benefits, giving their clients XRP, rewarding them with XRP. And, I was talking a little bit about why would a company do this unless they obviously saw the value in XRP to give to their clients. And then on January the 26th, so the day before, crypto assets are crashing. But since they are still immature financial products, regulations will be developed and strengthened in each country in the future. This is a quote. And the blockchain technology itself, which is used for crypto assets, has various possibilities. International and domestic remittances can be made quickly and at a low cost. The use of technology will spread not only in remittances, but also in various industries. So again, this was a quote here, a declaration by Yoshitaka Kitao, president of SBI Holdings, again from January the 26th. So just to kind of sum up what was going on over there at SBI, I wanted to thank Crypto Eddie for posting that. I also happened to see this guy's originally from Riz XRP here on Twitter, Gary Cardone, and his knowledge of Wall Street coming into cryptocurrencies. I mean, even though the market's not cheering up yet.
The crypto world, because the payment industry has a massive amount of problems in declining credit card transactions, in having your credit card decline just because the provider of that card may not like you anymore. That happened in Russia 1 year ago. All Visa, all MasterCard, you're not using any of this. So the sovereign value to me, as a bit of a creature who doesn't like being controlled by people I don't even know their name, I didn't vote for them. I like crypto because at least for a small percentage, 3%, 5%, 10%, I have some sovereign, I've managed a bit of my sovereign risk, right? Like, I just want to leave the country now, and I'm going to go live on a sailboat, and I'm not going to be tied to a currency or a passport that makes me do certain things. So that's kind of how I ended up here. I find it intellectually, it is the most exciting industry I have ever been in, bar none. I've been in 5 of them, 5 big ones. I love the youth of the people. I was in Wall Street this whole week. I think companies investing in this space are more serious today than they were a year ago, and far more serious than they were 3 years ago. Like I'm really excited what I saw in New York this week, because there are 150-year-old monster institutions that are coming in this space. They've been studying it. They have not stubbed their toe yet. They didn't get involved with some of this bullshit, and they're going to launch and they're deploying a monster amount of intellectual capital behind it.
Yeah, I mean, BlackRock's here, JP Morgan's here, Fidelity is massively here in the crypto space. You don't get much bigger names than that. They're just sort of quietly evolving. I love the point you made earlier about always wanting to be where there's disruption. And you talked about it being technological disruption, regulatory disruption. I think we've clearly had the technological disruption from crypto, which you described well, certainly in the payment space. Are you concerned about the regulatory disruption that could potentially be coming as a result of all the things that we saw today?
So unfortunately, the clip ends there, and there are a few people down here in this tweet thread saying, that's it, I want to see the rest of the interview, but unfortunately, there's no link to the rest of that interview. It was done by the Wolf of All Streets here, so I'm sure you can look him up and find that podcast. So some things here that Gary Cardone mentions is, the idea that crypto is freedom. You can hold cryptocurrency on the side, and it allows you to be able to travel anywhere and not be relegated to one country's rules and regulations. I mean, if you're holding crypto, realistically, you can go to a cryptocurrency friendly country, you can cash out of your crypto there, and you can start living. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things involved, and it obviously depends on how much cryptocurrency you have. But, it's a release mechanism. It's a safeguard against, tyrannical countries. And it's seeming like more and more have reared their ugly heads over the last 1, 2, 3 years. So it's a safeguard. He gives the example of Russia banning MasterCard and Visa. There's also this idea that the industry is getting larger and the big players are jumping on board. And Melker here, he talked about Fidelity, BlackRock, and a couple of others, big institutional players getting into cryptocurrency. And Gary Cardone, he says, it's a lively industry. It's a fun industry. It's an exciting industry because of the youth. And he is invested in 5 major sectors, as you heard him say in this interview. So an interesting perspective here from Gary Cardone. Now, John Deaton also chimed in on this. Gary Cardone explained how legacy players are getting into crypto. I've said for more than a year now that Gary Gensler is crashing crypto, including exchanges, so that the incumbents can get a bigger slice. And so it's looking as though that's what we're starting to see, the Fidelities and the BlackRock coming into the space. After that, there will be some level of clarity worked out. So, at least in the US, we've got to wait for the big players to settle in before we get that clarity. XRP Dex down here saying the SEC and Elizabeth Warren are actively perpetrating ambush regulatory capture. It is repulsive. RICO violations labeled ETHgate. It is a brute force power grab, clearly. DSGR 10 down here saying that's spot on, and it is a shame that the government is so corrupt that the SEC is allowed to do this in plain sight with the help of people like Senator Warren. I guess that new day will never come. Well, it is coming. It's coming slowly but surely. News of a bill in New York State Senate that could see state agencies recognizing cryptocurrency as a legal form of payment. I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video. If you guys didn't catch that, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. The SEC and court case around the world recognize cryptocurrency as a form of legal payment, thus clarify that crypto are not securities except the United States. So, There is obviously an agenda here. You know, the legacy players have to get settled in. We also got this from John Deaton. It amazes me that the importance of tomorrow's hearing, guys, which is in fact today, he did tweet this out yesterday, isn't being discussed by industry leaders. I must, however, express gratitude to NY crypto lawyer, which is Lewis Cohen, and Filan Law, James K. Filan, for reaching out and assisting me in preparation for the hearing, assuming the judge allows amicus participation. Now, he was retweeting out this original tweet that he tweeted out on January the 7th. On January the 30th at 3 p.m., there's a hearing in the LBRY case, guys. I've been admitted to the case and filed an appearance on behalf of Naomi Brockwell. It is my honor to represent Naomi, who epitomizes the need for regulatory clarity regarding users and secondary market transactions. So this is a clear-cut example of where we need the regulatory clarity to go. John Deaton is going on her behalf, and he explains it a little here. Naomi has never purchased a single LBC and has never sold LBC. She earned the LBC she owns through her tips, purchases by viewers, and user rewards. Naomi has never cashed out of any of her LBC because it is far more valuable to her to keep the LBC attached to her channel, because staking helps her videos get views by a larger number of people. So she's using the LBRY ecosystem. Again, to this day, Naomi Brockwell has never purchased or sold a single LBC. Naomi uses the LBRY platform every single day as a content creator. It is a great place for her to build an audience and feel comfortable that her channel is not going to be taken away from her. Isn't that one of the beauties of a decentralized platform? During the last 5 years, Naomi has accumulated all her LBC tokens that she owns by utilizing her channel. Naomi wasn't even aware that the LBC tokens that she had accumulated through her channel had a monetary value associated with them only until a few years ago. Again, she has never sold or bought any LBC tokens. She uses the tokens on a daily basis in the ordinary course of her business to post content, to give her content more visibility, and to access certain videos. But on November the 7th, 2022, the judge in the LBRY case entered an order granting the SEC summary judgment. The court's order does not reference secondary market acquisitions of LBRY, nor does it address LBC token holders like Naomi, who acquired LBC for non-investment purposes. The court did conclude, however, that many individuals like Naomi acquired LBC for consumptive use only. At the July 20th, 2022 hearing, Judge Barbadoro said, I think this record does contain evidence that there are some consumptive uses for LBC. I think that's undeniable. And so John Deaton going on and just reflecting how he does not see that as true. And so he's going to be going there on her behalf. The tweet thread goes on for several more tweets. I will link it in the description of the video for you guys if you are interested. Now, this is an important court case. Lewis Cohen, who helped John Deaton with this, also posted, so as some of you know, tomorrow's a big day for the LBRY and the entire crypto community. The judge in the SEC versus LBRY will hear oral arguments on the application of remedies. An amicus brief from John Deaton and local counsel is here. Please have a look, and that will be linked in the description of the video if you guys want to take a look at that. At stake is whether a judge buys the argument that a crypto asset, basically a number that allows the owner to send instructions to a network, can somehow embody an investment scheme by a company that is about to dissolve. He goes on to say, watch this space. Joni Perovich here saying, good luck, guys. Tokens are mere data structures, and their consumptive or other use can only be enlivened through activities / our instructions to engage with the data structure. Very good point. Lewis Cohen saying 100%. David down here saying an interest in an investment contract is a security. Of course, a token by itself is just software and cannot be a security, but a token can be a mechanism for holding an interest in an investment contract, in which case a transfer of a token is a transfer of a security. Lewis Cohen responding, this is the embodiment theory, the idea that an asset that is not itself a security can embody an investment scheme temporarily. This is not current law and, as we argue in our paper, bad policy. There are better ways to address the legitimate concerns. There's a lot of great responses here in this tweet thread. Pyrus down here saying this brief is a 100% red herring. For example, additionally, considering that Brockwell was unaware of any monetary value associated with LBC, she could not have had a reasonable expectation of profits. So it's not a security. If one person didn't know it had value, absurd. So not really buying it. John Deaton responding here, the underlying asset in an investment contract is not the security. Any asset can be offered and sold as an investment contract. Bitcoin has, but that didn't turn Bitcoin into a security. Squirrels, is that a squirrel? Squirrels have been sold as securities. They remain securities. LBC is not a security, it is code. Another interesting point that I just wanted to bring up here, from Lewis Cohen's tweet thread. From the number 2 tweet here is that, these LBC tokens are still being used, an investment scheme by a company that is about to dissolve. So as we heard, because of this, I believe LBRY has to take a bit of a hiatus, or they have to change their scheme. So if they do not exist, how could the LBC token even be considered a security? And I mean, when we think about this in terms of Ripple and XRP, Ripple has said the same thing. If Ripple ceased to exist tomorrow, well, the XRP cryptocurrency would still exist. The ecosystem still exists, and people are still building on the XRP ledger. So this is going to be an interesting case, guys. I'm going to keep my eyes open and see what comes out of it. Could it set precedent for XRP holders? Well, I certainly think Judge Torres will likely make note once we do get a verdict. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.